Hi, everyone. Seth Scrimo here again with the Best of Worcester podcast. And today we are going to a special place that is getting ready to open up here. I am with Courtnie, the owner and founder of Unbound Movement. We're going to learn a little bit about what she has going on and about why she started this. Courtnie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right, Seth. Thank you. How are
Awesome.
you?
Good, good. It's Friday. It's hot. It's ready. Let's get after it. All right. So, for listeners who may not know, what is the concept behind the Unbound Movement Studio?
Sure. So, on Bound, the entire idea behind it is you. So, you, the person walking through the doors, not me, the owner, the founder, the instructor, not that Courtney, the clients. So, I really wanted to have a space for people to come, be their authentic self. And I am trying to lead by example by putting 100% my authentic self into the space and into everything I'm doing with it.
Yeah, I think it's very important to be yourself, right? Especially in an age now where a lot of people hide behind filters and behind social media, right? You don't know what's what and all this AI stuff. Man, you can't trust anything. Now, you said that movement is for everyone. Where does that passion for fitness and yoga come from in your own journey?
So, man, we're going to get emotional already. So, I think that movement in general, and the one of the reasons going back to your first question of why I kept movement in the name of the business is because it's broad, right? I don't like to be put into a box in any part of my life, especially when it comes to movement, because I am a true believer that when I'm cleaning my house and everyone else is asleep, my headphones are in and I am screaming in my head to the music and dancing while I'm mopping. That's movement, right? I am on my 2 feet that I am so grateful to have, and I'm moving. So I didn't wanna say Unbound Yoga, Unbound Fitness, because then it's not true, right? Well, honestly, and I think I kind of touched on this, like, with that long spiel, but I am fortunate that I can move myself. When I was a teenager, I was 16, I was in a car accident that was life-threatening. I broke both my femurs, my right ankle, I had a compound fracture, my lungs collapsed, I was unconscious, I spent 2.5 weeks in ICU and then was bedridden, at the age of 16 for, like, 2.5 months. Had to learn to walk again, had to support or, lean on the support of my family, like, to go to the bathroom, couldn't shower, like, at 16, when you want nothing to do with your family, right? Like, I
Yeah.
hated my mom, I didn't wanna be around her, not because she was a bad person, but because I was 16, and, especially the older I get, the more I reflect how fortunate I am to have 2 feet and 2 legs to walk on. I think that's where it all comes from for me and what I'm trying to put in. Right? You can show up here with an artificial leg and a real leg, like, it does not matter. We're gonna find a way that feels good and right for your body and help you move in those ways.
No, I think it's a testament that humans are meant to do hard things, and it doesn't come to the surprise that when you do something hard, you become stronger, right? So starting something new always comes with challenges. For you, it was knowledge,
Mhm.
support, and finances. Can you walk us through what that season was like and how did you push through it?
So knowledge, little bit background, my, like, collegiate degree, I have a bachelor's in business administration. So in some aspects, I was taught, right, and tested on how to operate a business and, those pillars, marketing and finance and all of that a few years ago. But really the knowledge with your feet on the ground is not the same. Like, it's not textbook. I don't think it's something that you can learn from a textbook or take a test about. And so I started to look into opportunities or places that I could go locally when I had the opportunities or time, in my schedule And that's where I started. So I started like Googling, I started looking at the SBA, I started looking at SCORE, all the websites that are out there, when you type in how to open a business in Worcester, Ohio. And I just kept getting like nothing's here, like in town, right? And so all started last year, like in the fall. So we're about a year in now to date. And at the time, my youngest was in preschool, so I didn't have a full day to drive to Canton or drive to Cleveland and then get back here and put the mom hat back on and do all of those things. And finally, I found a small business like Q&A at the library. And so that's where I started. And I didn't go in with a list of questions to have answered in the Q&A. I went in with the idea of, hey, well, if you're going to do this or you want to do this, you have to just start showing up in some capacity. And this is step one. You're going to go be around like-minded people. You're going to listen to their questions. You're going to listen to the discussion happening, and the questions are going to flow. You're going to then have feedback into those conversations, and your voice is going to start to come back through. And that's kind of where I started. So that's the knowledge piece of it. I did the whole mentor thing on SCORE and SBA, which is a great, 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 great. I don't want to discount that at all. It was very hard for me because the person that I was paired with was a much older person with absolutely no experience in, the movement industry, personal training, fitness, yoga, anything of the sorts. In all honesty, I think, and maybe you can agree, Seth, I think some of us are just kind of making it up as we go. So that was the knowledge piece for me. Finance kind of came through that. Going to those little meetings at the library here in town with, representatives from SCORE and SBA. They also did a Meet the Bankers event. And so they brought in local bankers from banks in town, and they just kind of talked. So even though I already learned all this, right, like 10 years ago or whatever, in school, these are the steps you take, like da 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 da. Da. I haven't applied it up to this point, right? I've been working jobs to make a paycheck and support my family, or you do my part to support my family. So yeah, so I went to Meet the Bankers event, and it was great. And I was listening to all of these other people's ideas, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is wild. And it just really started to open my eyes again to, Courtney, you can do this. Like, there are people like you out there. You are not the anomaly. You are, I mean, and maybe in some ways you are, like I am, but this isn't as far-fetched as you have led yourself to believe or listened to the negative people saying that it is. Uh, and so I think that while going to those things, the reason I started going was for the knowledge, was to learn about the finance and get all of those pieces in order. It really did so much more than that for me. Being around those like minded people that had similar questions, or questions that were buried super deep in me, because owning a business has really been a goal of mine for my entire life. Like, I remember being younger and wanting to own a business because I wanted to do things my way, right? Mm. And I thought I would grow out of it, that I was just a stubborn kid. And I never grew out of it. I always was the person throwing around these wild business ideas. And then when I started teaching fitness classes, it just kind of all went together. Like, it all started to make sense, because when you open a business, in my opinion, it's something you're passionate about, and that's the reason you're doing it. That's the reason you get out of bed and keep going, and stay up till 3 a.m. painting ceilings and doing all the things. That's the next
No, hey,
question.
no, that just means you're passionate about it, and I can attest to you that, there's a lot of people out there that say they know the answer, but we're all just making it up as we go. What's on paper and what actually happens are 2 different things.
Oh, absolutely. And
Yeah,
I think like long-winded answer is what I said, but short, nice, and sweet
yeah,
answer is exactly what you just said. We all think we know it, or we study for the test to know it.
yeah.
And then you get out in the real world and you're like,
That's what I'm saying, man, not to, knock on college or anything like that, but, like, until you own a business, you can read about it,
mhm.
you can write about it, but until you're in the trenches doing it, 2 different things, man.
Oh, yeah.
Um, so how did you decide that this was the exact field and business you wanted to pursue?
I think doing it for a few years before going out on my own. So, not to backtrack or anything, but I said I always wanted to own a business. And so I thought I thought, up till the last year, 18 months of my life, I thought I wanted to own a hair salon. Am I a hairdresser? No. So for so long, I got held up on that was my passion and that was my dream. And I need to do X, Y, and Z so that I can make my big dream of owning a hair salon a thing. But that also included going back to school and paying a bunch of money and all of the things in programs like that, vocational programs for adults. I don't know if you've ever looked into them, but they're one, expensive if you want it to be within reasonable hours of having a family, or two, the hours are awful. I have two kids, and the entire reason I do what I do every single day of my life is one, because I'm passionate about it, and two, 1.1 really
Yeah.
is my kids. And
Uh,
so it just wasn't an option. And so when I started teaching fitness classes before I started teaching yoga classes. It just felt right.
no, I mean, I get that. I got 2 kids and a wife at home. Well, back in 19, I was managing multiple locations, throughout the Midwest, for a 24-hour gym, and, I'm a firm believer that if you want growth, God's gonna give it to you.
Absolutely.
I think, there's a lot of now it's getting a little bit better, but there's a lot of stereotypes that you can't have a business and have a family.
Yes. Oh, completely agree.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of professional organizations in the area with some meetings from people that, they have some speakers come in, and one thing that really stood out to me is one of the owners said, I only work half days. I only work 12 hours every day." I'm like, "That's no life I want. Your business should be working for you, not against you." You know?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I think you have a great opportunity, one, to live the life that you want when you own a business. And two, if you have little ones, show them that, hey, work will always be there. But if you don't find the passion of what you want, then you're always going to be working a job and you won't find your purpose. I could tell just from knowing you, I remember you messaged me about some stuff before you started doing this about what I need to do. I was like, I think, well, I'll just get certified and I think you'll do great. Like just that seed from there to where you are now. I mean, yeah, it's exciting to see where this is going to go. So speaking about exciting, now virtual fitness was huge recently because of certain situations that came into our life, but studios still have a place. So why do you think people are craving the in-person community and connection so much right now?
You said it, community. As an adult with children and a house and a husband and things outside of, these walls, I want a place that I can go and shut off for an hour. Um, I was actually just I'm not gonna get into all that, but I want a place where, yeah, I can go and shut off, and I want people that even if I've never met you in my life, when we're getting our weights, we're like, "Oh, man, what torture is she gonna put us in?" Or, like, smiles and is genuine about it, and from there, you build those relationships, or you don't, but you still have that place at the end of the day to just go shut off and be you for those 45, 60, 30 minutes, whatever you can give to yourself.
Yeah, I think it's important to like, especially if you are someone that pours into other people, that
Mhm.
you have to find a place that you can get your cup filled up
Yep.
because you can't pour from an empty cup,
Yes.
right? So speaking of cups and pouring,
Mhm.
since starting your business, you probably made some changes. What have those changes been and how is it different how you operate today? How much time we got, right?
Right. So really the changes, while kind of drastic, right? It's really different. I don't stop working, right? My phone's always on. Someone is always going to message. It's choosing when to reply and those kinds of things. And the rest of it is strap on a painting shirt because you're coming with me, little dude. I mean, they've come along for the ride. I took this on. I signed a lease at the very end of June, and I was like, "Yep, we're not going to the pool this summer. We are demoing mommy's studio and getting dirty." And that's what we did. I do have to say, and this is where the tears are going to start. My kids were great about it. They're 5 and 13, and not once did either of them, even my little guy, that's 5, be like, "Nope, we're not doing that. Nope, I wanna go to the pool instead. No, it's okay, what wall do we get to knock down today?" Or, "Which walls are we painting?" Literally them fighting over who gets to use the sledgehammer. So that that's what it was. That's what's changed is they come along, and I think that that holds true to the whole entire environment that I am trying to cultivate of Unbound. It's about you, and if the way that you can show up today is with your crazy 5 and 13-year-old in tow, sitting in the lobby for 14 or 45 minutes, fine. Let them fight for 45 minutes, I promise. Like, me and probably nobody else in that studio is gonna think anything of it. Just get it done. Do it for you because they see that.
Yeah, I think it's important for especially if you have little ones to be honest with them. Don't live
Mhm.
behind a filter. Life sometimes sucks. Sometimes you got to get your hands dirty. And if you could teach your kids to get their hands dirty early, that just means when they face those hard times, they're going to be that much better prepared. So, speaking of, professional growth, you talked about this earlier about following and being around like-minded people to keep, conversations open. Can you share an example of someone who's influenced you recently?
Honestly, I'm gonna say my daughter. She's 13, and so often I know your kids aren't quite teenagers yet, Seth, but, like, do you remember being a teenager and you just, like, butt heads with that parent, and it was because, like, you were so much like them? Like, you can realize that now as an adult
Oh
and
yeah.
as a parent. And I think that's what it is for her and I, is we are just so much alike, and sometimes it's like I always tell people, like my friends, it's a blessing and a curse, right? Because I see all of the great things in her, and I can appreciate them and love them about her and be like, "Oh, you know what? Good job, Courtney. She got that from you." Or, you have the friends that gently remind you, "Well, yeah, you taught her that." But then I also see all of those little stubborn things as well. And I think that she has influenced me because at the young age, let's be honest, 13 is very young still. I'm just so incredibly proud of her because each and every day she shows up for herself authentically. She goes to school and kids are so awful. They bully her and they frustrate her, and she still does the thing. Like, she still every single day shows up. And I'm just so incredibly proud of that. And I just keep praying that she does not let them wear her down. And so yeah, she definitely inspires me. Being around her and getting to do these projects with her is not just me teaching her, "Look, hard work gets you to your dreams." It's also her giving me those little reminders like, "Yeah, I see that and you're working hard, but don't let the hard work take away from who you actually are." And so, yeah.
Yeah, those eyes are always watching, right?
Yeah.
Now, you said you're working on getting more involved in the Worcester community. What role do you see the community playing in the future of your business?
So hopefully, we're an arm of the community. I would love to. I was thinking about this question a lot this morning. Just don't know what it looks like yet. And I think that's the piece of the fear that has kind of held me back from just jumping and getting involved in something right now is I want to get involved in something again that I'm passionate about, or else I'm just showing up. And nobody wants a volunteer or a person that's just there because they feel like they have to be. So, what do I think that looks like? I think that looks like having kids here for a yoga or like a run around. We need to get energy out because it's 30 degrees outside and there's 3 feet of snow and there's nothing to do. And my mom's going crazy because it's a snow day, or my dad, is going crazy because it's a snow day. And now they're missing their 12 o'clock workout because they're home with me. And okay, so what does that look like? And I don't know that it's necessarily right now at this time in my life being involved with another organization. I think it's more so embedding myself in those little ways. I see you. I'm with you in the trenches. I want to help you genuinely. Let's figure out how to do it.
Yeah, I think it's important to harvest your tribe, but also nurture it,
Mhm.
right?
Oh yeah.
So, it's from there's no surprise that you're opening a business, so you have a tribe already, right? And sometimes just nurturing that tribe and seeing what flourishes from that, the opportunities, especially when it comes to the community. I think you already have an arm in the community. You just have to keep nurturing it. So now tomorrow's a big day for
Mm,
you,
yeah.
right? You're going to be open your studio for, the first time. How do you make your customers that come in feel welcome when they step into your studio for the first time?
I think that this goes from the second they walk through the door. So right now, hopefully you noticed when you walked in, there's a bright pink bulletin board, as soon as you walk through the door, right there is the first impression. It's on a black wall, it's sticking out, it is being itself. And then as soon as you enter into the lobby, I want to greet you with a smile, a friendly face, not jump on top of you and over, be overbearing, but I want to be right there. Hey, what's up? I'm so glad you're here. What's your name? Did you find us okay? Here's where you can put your stuff. Let me know when you're settled in and we'll take care of whatever else comes next.
Yeah, I think it's important to make people feel like they belong,
Mhm.
right? And I think, as someone who has kids, making it important to know is that, hey, we're all imperfect. We all
Yes.
got problems and we all have situations that sometimes can be chaotic. And you can bring that here, which is huge.
Yeah.
So let's say we had a crystal ball here,
Mhm.
right? And we could see what the next 5 years look like. Maybe some more instructors, more offerings, childcare, just a picture.
Yes, you did. So the whole goal is to grow, right? We're starting. I started as a one woman show. I am so excited to say that we are already adding a couple of wonderful instructors that bring their authentic selves to the environment. And that's what I love about them. Team here at Unbound is because they foster those values as well. They're authentic to themselves and to the classes that they teach. But looking into the future, I hope to, and I plan to expand our offerings, not so much because let's be honest, I'm guilty of being a person that wants to do all the things, but there's just not enough time to do all of the things. So it's what is the most authentic to me. Anyways, and then having the other right people do all the other things. So growing as a team, growing with the industry. So I don't want to continue to teach there's not even, let's just say Pilates a year from now, if nobody wants to do Pilates, right? Like, because if I'm bored of it, chances are somebody else is bored of it. So, right now, one of the huge things is dance fitness. I mean, everybody I've talked to, especially on Worcester Insider groups, like, is there a place in the community? And I'm just like raising my hand, like, we're almost there, friends. We're almost there. I promise we're coming. We're coming for you. There's going to be a place. But so to continue to grow the team, continue to grow our offerings in childcare is another one that's at the very top of my list. I have the space here to do it. It's just getting there. Right. So my main focus right now, of course, is getting the doors open, getting classes on the schedule, getting people here enjoying themselves, showing up for themselves, and then the rest can come. Childcare will look like, hopefully in the beginning, it will look like you don't want to miss your opportunity to spend your movement time, or excuse me, you don't want to miss that time for yourself and your kid's babysitter got sick or it's a snow day or whatever the situation is. Your husband, your wife is out of town and you're doing it all solo. Bring them. There will be an environment for them to be safe and right with locked doors and all of those things. We're not locking them in a room. Don't worry. I said that, and then I was like, "Oh god, people are gonna think we've lost in the ship." We are not doing that. I mean, like, exterior doors being locked so they can't escape to the parking lot. Anyways, but then continue to grow and have, like, a children's program offering as well. Kids are one of my and so I hope and plan to, as soon as I can get this running the way that I want it to be, I can start to put more time and energy into that piece. And so in the next 5 years, I see us leaving this space, honestly. I already am like, okay, I'm ready for a bigger space. I came into this wanting a bigger space, but this is where the universe wants me right now. And so this is where I am.
I think a concept that took me a while to grasp when I first started doing my business stuff is slow is smooth and smooth is fast. If you focus on one step at a time, you're gonna get there. Just that big P word, everyone has trouble with patience. That gets in the way, right? So let's say we have someone listening that wants to start moving or maybe even start a business of their own. What advice would you give them?
Come see me. Let's have a conversation. Shoot me a message, send me an email. I'm pretty much an open book. I'll talk your ear off and hope that you will talk mine off in turn. I promise to be a safe space. And really, if I don't know the answer, I'm the person that's going to say, honestly, Seth, I have no idea. Let me work on that. And I'll get back to you. Or you get back to me when you do some more research and let's compare notes.
Yeah, I think that it's important to if you're interested in something, you need to go out and get information about it. I
Yeah.
think there's a huge push that people just jump all the way in
Yeah.
without finding some kind of expectations.
And that's the thing is that my head, when I was thinking about our conversation today, when I was reading over everything, and getting ready, getting myself ready, and not kind of reflecting on knowing that question might come up. My head said, well, just do it, right? Because that's what you think in a sense, right? But baby steps. You don't have to go all in today. If you plant the seed, show up to the library.
Oh yeah, it's the small little wins to add
Right.
up, right?
Yes. Yes.
So speaking of wins, and now you credited your husband, your from the beginning ladies in quotations, your brother, and so many others who have helped bring your vision to life where we are today. How important has that network been to your success?
Like quite literally with floor beneath us or
Yeah.
blue walls, teal walls, whatever color we're calling it, without those people. That's one of the best things about this entire process for me as an individual, not as a business owner, not as, any of the hashtag things. Me as Courtney, one of the greatest things about this entire process has been the challenges that I, as my own person, had to face. I am a very independent person, stubbornly so. And so asking for help is not easy for me at all throughout these last few months. Really, honestly, not even just like the hard work last few months, the last year from the time this idea was born. Having people that I could share that with without them judging me and saying, what are you talking about? You're never going to be able to do that. Instead, them one, just listening, and two, saying, "Yeah, you could do that," has been huge.
What's one thing you want the people of Worcester to know about you or your studio that they might not know yet?
There's so many things. One thing I think that I want people of Worcester to know about me as Courtney, and you and I kind of touched on this earlier, is I'm not just Courtney Reynolds, right? I'm Courtney Michaelis-Reynolds. I am Courtney. When it all gets jumbled up and is way too long, can't even fit on a check or card or anything of the sort. I'm Courtney. That's who I am. That is the only person I am striving to be. I'm not trying to be anybody else. And I want you to have a safe space to be yourself. About the business, about Unbound, I want people to know when you see that bright pink you, it's because I want you to have a spot to do the things for you. Don't show up for me. Don't show up for the friend that's coming with you as an emotional support buddy because it's scary to go somewhere new, for the first time. Bring that emotional support friend, bring that emotional support spouse, bring 50 of them, please. But at the end of the day, you're going to keep coming here when you start doing it for you. And so that's the thing I think I want people to know is this isn't my studio. This is our studio. This is a place where you can come and I'm going to encourage you to do what feels good today. Yesterday, you might have lifted up 50-pound dumbbells and I high-fived you at the end of class. Today, you might need to come lay on your mat for 45 minutes and do nothing. And that's okay.
Awesome. So those are all the serious questions. Not that these next questions aren't going to be serious, but these are a little bit more of the funner ones as we close out the episode. It's Friday night here in Worcester, and you're heading out to eat. You said that TJ's is your spot. What keeps you going back there?
The patio.
Right.
The people, I mean, can honestly say I've never gone to TJ's and had bad service ever. Food is great, and I mean, they're just awesome people there. I love it.
Now, when you're not at the studio, people can find you at your kids' school or events. What's your family life look like right now?
Pure chaos. And I'm sure every
Yeah.
parent right now, right, with kids can say the same thing. If you're doing anything of the sorts for yourself and trying to raise kids today, like in this world we live in, it's chaos. A lot of support for my husband, a lot of support. He shows up for the things that picks them up and takes them to the practices and does bedtime and, make sure that their teeth are brushed and they eat dinner at like, regular dinner time and not midnight when I might eat dinner because I've been here all day. So it's been a lot. And then me kind of coming in hot, flying in. Here I am, sweaty and hot, and I love you. And I promise you can stand by me. But if I smell, it's not because I didn't wash my clothes. Like it's because I literally just left teaching the class. Yeah, that's what it looks like right now.
Mm, pure chaos. That's so
Uh-huh.
true. I get that. Now, you said the best thing about your life right now is the family you've built with your husband and kids. Can you share a little bit about what that support has meant to you while watching this studio?
Family. I don't have my own blood family like in town in Wayne County. And so I have built my family. My husband and I, what does that support look like right now? Is that the question?
Yeah.
I think yeah, I answered this with the last question a lot and going into, things we talked about earlier with my kids, it's been not necessarily always support in the sense of being here painting the walls, but it's also that mental support. I know that you are doing the things right now, and this is the stage of life we are in for this period, and I'm going to hold on and I'm still going to let you through it.
Important to have that support, especially on those hard days.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what's your favorite coffee go-to order that when you need a pick me up?
So I always end up going back to, or if I'm in a new place, the safe order is an iced caramel latte, sometimes with oat milk, usually with oat milk. But yeah, midday, it's a Coke Zero. I got my emotional support Coke Zero here with my water.
All right, last question here. This one's a doozy. If you had one extra hour in your week with no responsibilities, just free, just for Courtney, how would you spend it?
Geez, that would change every week. Um,
I'm sure it will.
it would be cleaning my house, right? But then it doesn't feel like that's for Courtney. Honestly, though, the season of life I'm in right now, I think that 1 hour would honestly be spent catching up on things not related to the business or to my kids. I think it would be cleaning my house. Yes, that still, impacts my family. Obviously, it also helps me mentally. When you have a clean functioning environment, everything else comes, through. Or that hour would be spent taking a class. I can't tell you how much I miss taking a class because it's so important as an individual to continue to learn. And the only way that I can keep learning as an instructor is listening and being a student myself.
No, I think it's important to, in order to be a master of your trade, you be willing to learn
Hmm.
at the same time.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
when you learn, you can teach, right?
Exactly. That makes you a better teacher.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, Courtney, thank you so much for being on the show today. If anyone else needs any additional kind of information, you're welcome to reach out to myself as well. Seth Screamo at 330-221-1547. Have a great day. Bye.